What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily, your source for daily tech news. How are you doing? Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. Today's my son's birthday, so wish him a happy birthday if you get a chance, which I don't know how you would get a chance, but I don't know, put in the comments, whatever. Anyways, guys, we have a couple of news stories and we have a bunch of questions, so let's just dive right into all of this right now. So the first story of the day, Galaxy S21 Fan Edition. We've talked about this phone. It should have came out last year. It's been delayed due to like the chip shortage, and it looks like it's probably gonna come out in January or February, more likely January of 2022. So basically next month. And specs, let's kind of dive into that, what you should expect. We've kind of, again, we've spoken about this, but it's kind of rotating back into the atmosphere. So here we go. This is coming from Roland Quan. It says the S21 Fan Edition US model will have a 6.5 inch 2400 by 1080 OLED display. The cameras will be 12 megapixel, 12 megapixel, 8 megapixel on the back there, 32 megapixel front facing camera, Snapdragon 888 processor inside. It's gonna be running Android 11. It's gonna have 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, 4,500 milliamp battery, and it'd be $699 outright. So for under $1,000 you can pick up this phone with some headphones and probably a smartwatch. Not a bad deal. Is this phone super exciting? Not really, but you know, if it fits your needs, which it sounds like a solid phone, then why not grab it? So we're looking at, again, January, February, but more likely January of next year. Next up, if you have a Note 10 or Note 10 Plus, this is very exciting. The One UI 4 beta software is beginning to roll out, at least in Korea. So if you live in Korea, you can pick it up, and it's going to obviously add in that 4 gigabytes of virtual RAM when and if you get this beta, but you can always wait until they officially release it to get those features. But pretty exciting. I don't talk about the Note 10 or Note 10 Plus very much at all anymore, but this is definitely a cool reason. If you still have that phone, you have something to look forward to feature and software wise. If you're thinking about getting the Galaxy Tab S8, S8 Plus, or S8 Ultra, there's gonna be one feature that you will not be getting with it. You probably maybe wanted. You don't really need it, I think, but it's probably a feature that's cool to have. What is it? What's missing? Check out this headline. This is coming from Sam Mobile, who says that the Samsung foldables will be water resistant, but not its tablets. And to go deeper into this paragraph, it says, and it won't have one next year either. The Galaxy Tab S8 lineup will have plenty of exciting features, but an IP rating will not be one of them. None of the rumors have mentioned it, and our sources have also confirmed that water and dust resistance will not be available on the Tab S8, S8 Plus, or S8 Ultra. That means we can assume that another year will go by without Samsung adding elemental protection to the tablets. I don't think it's really a big deal that it doesn't have it. I mean, how often are you with your tablet where it's gonna be in water or near water or potentially gonna get wet? I think it's very rare that something like that's going to happen. So for it to not have it, probably not a huge deal. Would it have been really nice if it had it, especially for such premium tablets? Of course, but not the end of the world. Thanks for watching, guys. Your question of the day is, what is the best tablet in the world? Put in the comments down below. I would say the iPad Pro is pretty freaking amazing, but on the Android side, I'd probably say it's gonna be the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. That's my picks. Let me know about you guys. With that said, let's jump into the Q&A portion of the video and drop that beat. First question of the day comes from Ravenwing, who says, what is your opinion on if the Z Fold 4 was the same size as the Duo, but with all the features of the Fold 3, just better cameras? Do you mean like if it closed in half like that? I guess I wouldn't be against if it was that big. Oh, just like the width of it? That would be awesome. I'd be down for it. Anything bigger, I would definitely want to try. So yes, I'd be totally down for that. Mr. D says, light Q&A days. When you have the light Q&A days, would you consider going through the previous questions that you passed over so that they could be answered, if not immediately, then the next day, but in a day where you receive a few questions? I don't keep track of the questions in terms of like, oh, I missed this one, or I didn't answer this one, or this one I didn't have an answer for that, or it was too many questions that day. So it would have to be refed to me in order for me to see it. So probably not gonna cycle through all the questions that have been asked, unfortunately. New York's Finest, does the pop socket interfere with wireless charging? So you can get around it one of two ways. You could just take off the back of the case and charge it, or some of these you can just screw off and you can wirelessly charge it, so that gets around the interference. Shajil says, Greg, the S Pen is huge reason to upgrade from the S21 Ultra to the S22 Ultra. Wouldn't you like to see a dual screen Xiaomi 11 Ultra? That part of the question you answered, but the other part you left out when I mentioned camera, like in double the small screen as a selfie camera while having an in-display camera, because we already have a better camera at this point. What do you think? A little bit confused by your question, but I'm down. I'll say this: any technology that makes a phone more interesting or just different, I'm pretty much down for, at least to even try it. So if they put a camera in a screen on the back to do something like that, I'm totally down. Marcel Allen says, how long do you think it will take apps that use pinch to zoom to make their movies videos fit the Z Fold 3? I hate that it zooms in way too far. It's been a few years now. So I think we're gonna see a lot more app compatibility, better app compatibility between games and regular apps and videos and movies and things like that when the new Android for tablets and foldables comes out in early 2022 or mid 2022. I think you're gonna see a lot better stuff going on then. Darshan Shah said, if people think the Samsung is not innovating, then what about Apple? They must be the pinnacle of boredom and monotonous innovation. I know I saw people saying like, oh, Apple doesn't innovate. And yeah, I agree. Like sometimes Apple doesn't innovate, or sometimes they do come out with something and then Samsung copies it. So I mean, I think what people are thinking of is like, they look at Samsung from the past when they would throw everything at the kitchen sink and it was like, oh, some of the stuff was great, some of the stuff was bad, some of the stuff shouldn't have been added. And Samsung does innovate in some regards, but then in other ways, they kind of, I feel like they coast, you know, they don't put their best foot forward on some of these products, such as the Z Fold phones. Like, you should be throwing in, or have two versions, hopefully, maybe it's too expensive, of the best of the best. It's such a premium phone. Like, let's make that the best of the best so people have less complaints. Mustafa Ahmed said, hi Greg, I'm totally agree with you. Samsung not innovating much on phones. I think Samsung always likes to keep something for next year. Example, they are getting an S Pen slot this year. I think if they give everything this year, then no one will update next year. Probably business idea. Do you agree? Yeah, I do think it's a business idea. I think it's like, we don't want to give you everything. We want you to hold out a little bit so you do want to buy the next version. I think obviously that would be it. Now, it doesn't mean if they did give us everything that we wouldn't want to upgrade still, because cameras, processors, displays, the basics always seem to get better year in and year out, so you still pretty much have a reason to upgrade. Timothy Hammock says, if I'm on a budget to get a tablet, which Samsung tablet would you recommend? The Tab S6 or S7 Plus? It's a Christmas gift, but I've never had a Samsung tablet. It's always been Apple. What Samsung tablet would you recommend coming from an Apple iPad Pro? Well, I think someone responded to you and told you to get the light version. Do not do that, especially if you're coming from an iPad. You're gonna be like, whoa, this is bad. If I were you, if you can get, I always say, like the Tab S6 is great, and I think you could probably get a better deal potentially with that. Otherwise, if they're about the same price, yeah, get the Tab S7 Plus, the better version, because that'll have the OLED display. It'll be nice and big. I don't like the keyboard case with it. And at that point, you're so close. I'd probably tell you to wait for the S8 Ultra, but you said it's a Christmas gift. Get the S7 Plus, I'd say. Final answer. And our last question of the day, guys, thanks so much. This one comes from Shajil Shazad. Hey Greg, the crease looks very annoying on the Z Fold 3. Even through the video, the crease is still very noticeable, and Huawei Fold doesn't have the crease anymore. Don't you think that the Fold 4 should get rid of the crease? I think in order for them to get rid of the crease, they have to have a outward folding or outward folding phone, I think, in order to do something like that, or come up with some new technology. It doesn't bother me, at least. I've mentioned it all the time. It's like the notch on the cameras. It's like the pinhole at the top of the Galaxy S21 Ultra, that camera. It doesn't bother you. You get used to it. And I never, ever, ever think about the crease. Never. In any negative way. And people that I know that have it too, that are in my life personally, they don't think about it either. And it doesn't bother them. So would I like it to be gone? Yes. Does it bother me? Not really. Thanks for your question, guys. If you have a question, leave it in the comments down below with the word question as your first word, and I'll answer it in tomorrow's video, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.